from a different perspective. Probably Martin would love to hear that as a training. And as a person who is constantly experimenting with Moodle for almost close to a decade. Martin considers Moodle as his child. I consider it as my adopted child way back in 2006. And I was always looking to promote it because I found some promise in that because it had some scope in my own education. That's an agriculture education. So I was, let me just start with how my beginning started with Moodle. In 2006, I was just in the US for 1 week, 1 month exposure training in distance education in one of the big universities, which had almost 50K online users at any given point of time. They were using a commercial LMS, almost close to 1 crore Indian rupees. It was a very costly proposition for them. They were managing the whole material through that commercial LMS. At the same time, I found some few colonies of open source enthusiasts in the same university who are using open source software like Joomla. There was an articulturist who doesn't know anything about IT, but he was using Joomla very effectively for his students for online assignments and all. And also, there were few departments who are using Moodle in their lab, just in their particular local area network. And always there used to be parallel drawn between the commercial elements and the one that is already doing jobs, that's called Moodle. Then, when I came back to India, this thought process started how I can introduce this online learning in agriculture education, because this is where the future lies. So, there were few issues when I started, thinking about Moodle in 2006, because I don't know how many were knowing about it in 2006, but today there are many. This much group is there. But there were the issues that were before me when I started thinking about Moodle implementation in India, any elements, not for just sake it's Moodle. The one is the cost effectiveness. In the university where I have been, there was a big online group. There were so many people who were working on the troubleshooting, management, administrations, and course building, everything. There was a big group of people. But I can't afford that kind of group when I come back to my institute, when I come back to promote this kind of learning in the place where I am. Because basically I am from a training institute. So whatever I do, it has to be replicated all over India in agriculture education system. We have almost 75 universities today in India. I'm sorry, there was some problem in this. So first thing for me is it has to be cost effective. If I want to use an LMS, it has to be cost effective. Almost there has to be only single person who can manage the entire show, administrator and a person who can install, as somebody was pointing about the installation issues and all. So everything has to be rolled into one, and that person cannot be from an IT background because I can't afford to have an IT person in my own scenario. Then it has to be free and it has to be open so that I can tweak it a bit, but it has to be simple. And so that means I have to, when I install it, it should be very, very simple and it doesn't need much of my technical expertise to do that. And then the ease of implementation. So this is where most of our users are from Windows background. So when I want to implement, at that point of time, Sakai is one of the LMS which was used in many of our other organizations. But since being from Windows environment, I was thinking an LMS which has to gel well with my own Windows environment where I can easily implement. So with these things, when I try to make a matrix, Moodle just fitted into this entire matrix because it is free, it is simple, it is easy to install at this point of time. And then as a trainer, I found it very good for a training because I started, laying my hands on Moodle and I started getting comfortable with it. And within no time, I started developing a training cycle for that. It's very easy to adopt. That's how I found it at that point of time. And this is what I want to say about Moodle in 2007. My first with Moodle is 1.7. This is the first institute. I was the trainer for offering a training on Moodle in August 2007, where I trained 20 people who are completely from agriculture background. They don't have anything to do with any IT. But as a trainer, what I found is, because training is one of the key components, why Moodle could not, as you can see, there is a ballistic learning in 2006. After that, there was a yarning gap of 8 years for EFTAS to come in 2014. The one of the key components missing was the training. Why So I started working on the training process. If I have to train a person as a Moodler, as an administrator, as a teacher, as a student by himself. So I started with my beginning, I started with 4 days of training period. Entire 4 days I used to take it right from installation, as a teacher, as a student, all the tools which were good for them, I used to teach. But then slowly I started bringing that down to 2 days. And within 2 days, any domain specialist used to become expert in even installing the Moodle by himself. That is what I used to do as a trainer for Moodle. Now, today I can say over 5 years from 2007, I trained almost 1,000 IT domain specialists who are very familiar with Moodle. Probably this has gone unnoticed. Maybe we are not in the mainstream. And we also had a project called the National Agriculture Innovation Project in 2018. It's a World Bank project. So their main aim was to have e-courses in agriculture. That means they want to have all the curriculum of graduate level syllabus that has been put into e-courses. That was the time Moodle came very handy for me. Because by the time I was good enough, I was comfortable because I know that Moodle can deliver this kind of goods because it can ensure the uniformity in courses and all. So we started immediately coming up with the Moodle course. And we developed almost 400 courses in 5 years, and they're all available in open source. And one good thing is we have converted it into Moodle version. I don't know, some offline version we have made an offline version of these courses. Now they are being downloaded all over the world also. Now, as a continuation of this one, I even did a study on how Moodle is affecting the students' performance, wherein I found out this we have implemented in one of the real scenarios. The students showed up almost 20% improvement in their academic performance compared to the previous non-e-learning mode. It showed almost 20%. Now, I didn't stop there. My experiments with Moodle didn't stop as a trainer. In 2014, I started working because one of the good things that is doing rounds is MOOCs, massive open online courses. So I started working on the video-based courses, how I can bring these kind of things onto a MOOC platform. Whenever we talk about a MOOC, it goes on the edX platform or any other platform. But having had an association of almost 8 years by then, I thought why not I use Moodle as a MOOC platform. I started working on the e-courses which are video-based. So I started developing these courses. I'm very happy to share with you that in December 2015, I used Moodle as